So hello mummies, potential mummies, daddies, potential daddies out there. I am Mudoni and this is my channel. So this is part of a Colic series, and on the previous video I discussed how I knew that my baby had colic, and in this video we are talking about how to manage colic or how to manage gas pains. So on Google it says colic and gas pains are not the same thing, but I think here in Kenya, or I've seen basically everywhere, we use the terms just interchangeably, so understand me when I say that. So first of all, when it comes to managing colic, is don't assume that your baby has colic. If your baby has pain and is crying uncontrollably, please go see a doctor, and see a doctor that actually will be concerned enough to look into the issue, because I think most pediatricians I've seen just use colic as a blanket diagnosis, and they have no solution for you. Nothing. So yeah, what I'd say is actually go see a doctor who would actually care and listen to you, because sometimes I've seen in some mom groups some babies being misdiagnosed, and it actually ends up being something very serious, ranging from jaundice to pneumonia to meningitis. That's the word. Yeah, so I've seen very horrid stories. So first of all, just go for a checkup. Let the doc check, just to ease your mind. Let the doc check the baby's chest, the baby's tummy, do a physical examination. If you're really worried, you can even get blood work done, and just rule out anything else, any other illness that is not colic. Yeah, so I think that would be the first step. So now I'm going to list some of the things. So maybe probably if you've researched enough, and if this problem has like if you've been experiencing this for a while, I know you've had some of these things, but I'm just going to reiterate, maybe for someone who's not heard of them, or probably this is the first thing you're seeing as you're experiencing the issue. So let's get into it. The first thing is what your nurse tells you. It's what your mom friend will tell you. It's what your lactation consultant will tell you, is latching correctly. So make sure your baby is latching correctly, that the entire areola, the entire black part of your boob, or as much of it as possible, is in their mouth, so there's no gaps, and that their lips are kind of like inside out, like suctioning, and that there's no, is it a clicking sound? There's no that sound. So the only sound you should hear maybe is the swallowing, but no, so you should just hear, I don't know, maybe I should take I don't know if you can hear that. The sound of swallowing is what you should hear, so you shouldn't hear any muttering or clicking sound. So that's about latching. Number 2, especially for a colic baby, burp your baby more often than you think they need burping. So burp them during the feed, burp them when you're switching from boob to boob, even after a feed and you're just chilling, try to get a burp out. Try to get as many burps out as possible. When daddy is holding them, hold the baby upright and try to get a few burps out. And then different burping techniques work for different parents, and I think I'll cover that in another, I'll cover the burping in another video. So there is the the kawaida over the shoulder. There is one that I used which is over the boob, which use the boob to press the stomach and it gets the burp out. There's the, you know, and then there's the massaging the back until the gas goes up, and then you tap and it comes out. Then there's what really worked for us, and which we found out so late, I think it was by the end of the second month, the getting baby like kind of seated on your lap while supporting their head, because their heads were still wobbly at that point, and while they're seated, that for us really works. I think it's called the magic burp, the magic like burping technique. So yeah, burping. Another one that worked for us apart from latching, burping, next was, so I'm starting with the ones that really worked for us. The next one is holding baby vertically for long stretches of time, and by long stretches of time I mean long, like if you can. And I think this is how my baby ended up being addicted to like co-sleeping and contact napping, is because at that time we just wanted a solution. And at that time the solution was holding, even for her to have long naps, it's holding her vertically for long stretches of time. So after a feed I would hold her vertically, like should even nap there for as long as possible, like vertically, or like vertically inclined like this. Yeah, and that's how she would get naps in, especially when the gas got really bad. What else? A solution that I learned too late, and you know, I couldn't figure out how to train my baby by then, was getting them to lie on their stomach but under supervision. So you put them on their stomach, but you have to be right there because they don't know how to turn their heads or roll over, so you have to do it for them until they get a hang of it. I was kind of scared, and you know, I don't know, by that time my baby could turn. I think it's good when the baby can't turn at all. So once you put them like this, they're probably going to stay that way until you. So by the time I was finding out this solution, baby would turn halfway, so she would turn from here and place like her nose on the surface, whatever surface, and that would block her breathing. So I would say, yeah, holding vertically, or so I think the holding them like this while reclining solved that for us. So they were on their tummy and they were, you know, kind of somehow vertically upright. Yeah, so walk around with the baby. You can even wrap the baby in a baby wrap, and you know, that keeps them upright. And I don't know, that seemed to help a lot with the digestion. So yeah, and this is good, I think, especially for, and another solution that I've found is skin to skin. So when they are vertically placed like that, they can have skin to skin either with you mom or with you dad, and that helps them, it suits them. Especially like I found my baby felt really soothed when she would, you know, put her head on my husband's chest. Just that would really calm her. Like I would wait for him to get off work so that he could do that. So he would somehow manage to get the burps out, and he would sing to her and then place her on his chest, and that seemed to really calm her for long stretches of time. After that, I would say it is the massages. So the I love you massage, where you follow the gut. So yes, it's on the right. So on the right side of the, so I'm assuming like if this is baby, or who is baby, if this is baby and this is the right side, so you do from the top, or like under the ribs to the bottom of the abdomen, you do like I and then an L. So from the left to the right and downwards, love, that's love, and then from the bottom left to the top to the right and downwards. So that's the I love you massage. You can Google it. It's all over, and you can see how to do that. So there was the I love you massage, and then there was the bicycles, where you do this to their legs, and then you stretch it out, push it back with a bit of force, just a bit of force. Stretch it out, pull it back, and turn. And that would get them, especially when she was having like a bad crying spell. So at first it would make her cry harder, and then like once the farts are out, she would become happy and stop crying like immediately. But just getting her down to start, because she didn't like being on her back, so just getting her down to start those massages can make you give up, because they will really cry at first until you're done. And I said a bit of force, don't go there pressing the baby, like just a bit of force, such that you can feel like you're moving something a little. So those are the massages, and basically anything to relax the baby. So also a full bath. Even right now she burps naturally after a bath, and that's another thing. After a bath, I think it's just like us when we go for swimming, I guess. So after a bath, burp the baby. So after a bath, you burp them, because that I think that's one of the things that used to irritate her so much about bath time. So after the bath, burp. And so the bath and the massage would calm her down. Yeah. Next is swaddling. Even now, my 5-month-old, who I shouldn't be swaddling, still likes to be swaddled. So yeah, sometimes when I'm holding her, I swaddle her a little, though she didn't like being swaddled with her arms inside the swaddle, so her hands were always like this. Yeah, so a swaddle helps them feel secure and like comforted, not like everything is out of control. So swaddling helps. I've mentioned that singing helps, like anything to create like a calm, nice mood, because these gas pains are making the baby undergo a lot of stress and anxiety and all that. So anything to calm them, calming music, you and your partner being calm, having a supportive community if you can, when it comes to your husband, your wife, your nanny, grandma, just having that supportive community around you that can just step in, because it can truly be tiring, because especially like colicky babies, from what I've seen and from what I've experienced, is they get really intense in the afternoon and late evening, and you'll probably sleep at around 11 midnight. We used to sleep at around midnight 1, and that's after the baby having like a crying spell from 3 p.m. So yeah, the next one is tummy time. So I immediately this issue started coming up, I started doing tummy time, and that would help a lot. It really made my baby's neck very strong. But yeah, tummy time helps, because when they're in that position, it presses on their stomach, and they're lifting their head, so naturally it just helps. If there's any gas in that process, it elongates the abdomen, pressing the abdomen on the bed, and that gets the gas out and gives them anything that puts a little pressure on their tummy, gives them relief. Another one was being outside. Days when we were outside the whole day, the baby didn't cry at all. We would come back home and she would sleep. So I would say, especially in the evenings, try calm baby down, put her in a wrap, or just carry her and go for a walk, a drive, anything, just go. And because this problem is for a short time, just make it part of your routine. Just go, take a long walk, take a long drive if you can, and this will help. Even when you come back, the baby will sleep. So you can do that. You can adopt that until the issue goes away, because you want to feel reprieve. And I want to just remind you that your baby is in pain. They're not trying to irritate you on purpose or making things hard for you. Your baby is in a lot of pain. So anything to just make them feel better, why not try? Just try it, and it will make all of you happy. There's also, I think at that time, we weren't understanding the baby, and we would just get frustrated. Like at first we would act from a point of empathy and all that, and then at some point you just get really frustrated and you just don't know what to do. So our thought is just like, just stop crying. We're trying everything, just stop crying. And I just wish like I really acted from a point of empathy throughout than from a point of frustration. And it's only like at the second month mark, I don't know what happened, is when I really started feeling like, like I'm really feeling bad for my baby and all that. So just acting from a point of empathy, and I think, I don't know, maybe it had something to do with the judgment. Like, your baby is a fussy baby, your baby is a this baby, and it makes you kind of, you just don't want them to cry, or you're being told you're not a good mom. So yeah. So yeah, just do everything from a point of empathy for your baby. Another one is and I think this is the second last one, and this is gas drops, but with the guidance of your doctor. There's gas drops, there is okay, there's something I've not mentioned before we get to that. Another thing that could make the gas even worse is if the baby's nose is blocked. So and especially if your baby is born in the cold months, just buy, as we have the nose feeder. I wish we had the nose feeder earlier. We were using the kawaida aspirator that you get in those baby care sets, but I prefer the nose feeder, and I prefer nasal sprays to nasal drops. So the spray is less irritating than the drops. So a nasal spray and whatever type of aspirator you have, and just make sure when baby is breastfeeding that their nose is not blocked, because when their nose is blocked, they are breastfeeding and inhaling air with their mouth, so that leads to more gas. And also the crying. That's why I'm saying, like, you should do anything in your power to reduce the crying, because the more they cry, the more air they're inhaling, and just makes everything worse. So then the second last one I was saying was gas drops and gripe water and probiotics. So I've personally not tried gas drops, but we've tried I forget the name of the drug we were using, called something. I'll insert the name. So we were on some, were those drops? I think they were drops. We've also used gripe water, and we've also used BioGaia, the probiotic. But I think especially for the probiotic, it has to be prescribed. So basically, when it comes to all these things, it's all about consistency. So at first I thought that the gripe water doesn't work, but later So we had managed the problem for a while, and then we lapsed, and it was around election time. That's in August. We had a lapse a bit, and I remember the gripe water really coming through. But at that time I was desperate, you know. The problem had disappeared and then it's back. So the gripe water really helped. So you give the gripe water, is it 30 minutes after every feed? Every feed. After every feed. Don't say that you gave grape water once and it didn't work. It's after every feed. It will help. It will help manage. It will not help solve, but it will help manage. It will help baby get longer naps. It will reduce the crying. So gripe water after every feed. And for a colicky baby, sometimes they feed so much, but the more you give the gripe water, the longer the stretches between the feeds, because now they're not looking for comfort, so they'll sleep and all that. Yeah, there's that. And I think the very last thing, and this is what cured the gas pains for very long stretches of time, is diet, especially for exclusively breastfeeding mom. Your diet really matters, and that's what we are going to cover in the next video. I'm going to tell you, what we had to change in my diet that finally settled baby's tummy. So yeah, I hope with these tips you'll be able to manage the colic, and I'm just praying for the best for you and your family and your little one, and I pray that you're strengthened and you have grace for this season. And I just want to tell you that it's just a season, and babies grow, so it's just a season, and it'll come to an end. So just hold on, keep the faith, and yeah, you're doing the best that you can. You are doing the very best that you can. So yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has been helpful. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you on the next video. Bye.